Now we're starting Wednesday live with Dr. Jae Francis. Sorry that I couldn't host this live stream past couple of weeks, but I'm back. Just I was dealing with some medical, conditions, and then just couldn't, host this live stream. Thank you so much for joining this from TikTok, YouTube. Is live, so you'll be able to post any questions or comments, and I'll try to answer as much I can. And then also you can watch this from LinkedIn and Facebook, but you're not able to post any questions or comments. So if you like to post comments or questions, please join this live stream Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Time from TikTok, YouTube. Unfortunately, I'm not able to host this live stream through Instagram. Now, I'm attorney Jae Francis. We're starting, right? I'm a U.S. immigration lawyer based in Chicago and Illinois, but serve all 50 states. I host this live stream every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Time, and thank you so much for joining this live stream. I have a couple of good news, and then obviously we're under federal government shutdown, so it's a challenging time. But one good news, I'm gonna talk a little bit more in detail. Yes, hello, thank you for joining. It's about the DACA Dreamers, right? There's a positive development about this DACA program, and personally, for those of you who watch me during this live stream, notice that I have a cat, right? She's not here. And then it's a Scottish fold. I have a female cat, so babbling here, Rosie. And also we have a male cat, Scottish fold kitten, and his name is Tony. So hope that at least one of them will join this live stream today. But since my wife's home, I'm not sure whether any of them will join today. So feel free to ask any questions and comments. The title of this live stream is, labeled "Marriage Green Card Case," but obviously, under Trump, all cases linked. So I'm going to talk about all kinds of U.S. immigration cases as much I can. Now we're starting. So let's start with a positive updates. Let me drink some water. Okay, thank you so much for joining. For DACA, there has been some, positive movement through the court. Those of you who are on DACA or thinking about applying for DACA for the first time, you probably follow every court decisions. But right now, right, basically the federal government compelled the USCIS to take new cases, and then they've been adjudicating renewal cases, but USCIS accept new cases. It's called initial DACA, but they haven't adjudicated or approved and denied your cases. Yes, thank you so much. Of course, Higgerson, thank you so much for your positive comments. We love to help our clients as much as we can. It's a challenging time, but thank you so much for your compliments. But let me go back to DACA, okay? So that was the situation. The USCIS say that, the court, you can tell us what to do, but we're not doing it. But now, finally, September 29th, I believe that is Monday, USCIS finally replied to the court the following. It's a little bit confusing. I made short video and I'm gonna share with you, but just confusing. So to make it simple, there's a 4 variation, right? Initial, renewal, Texas, outside of Texas. Yes, Bota, how are you? Bota, I will get back to you. You have a very good questions, and then I'm about to answer the question. Just be patient, Boca, okay? Bota, just be patient. A lot of you joining but not asking questions from TikTok. But let me tell you. Let me finish the DACA, okay? So soon. It's not final yet because the court didn't accept or approve USCIS response to court order. But this is what they proposed. The USCIS proposed, right? If you're outside of the Texas, if you're outside of Texas, then it's a business as usual. The renewal, deferred action, it means that you're not subject to deportation, work permit. Good news, initial DACA will be adjudicated by USCIS. They have a lot of them just pending. Thank you so much for joining from TikTok and YouTube. But USCIS told the court that they're gonna start adjudicating initial DACA. It means that the people who apply for DACA for the first time. Good news, isn't it? But you need to be outside of Texas. Outside of Texas. Now, if you're in Texas, then what happened? What happened? Like initial DACA, right? Initial DACA for the first time. Then according to USCIS, they say that you don't get work permit. You get only a deferred action. So it's not really full deferred action, but sort of deferred action. Like I would say deferred action light. So that's what's going to happen to those of you who live in Texas. Initial DACA will be accepted and adjudicated, but you don't get work permit. Initial. The renewal for those of you who live in Texas, I'm sure that some of you live in Texas and watch this from Texas, is that for renewal, the USCIS proposed that I need to review this. Is okay. Work permit is allowed. So then for now, Texas and outside of Texas, it's about the same when it comes to renewals. But there's a C difference between initial application between those of you who live in Texas and then outside of Texas. I'm going to repeat and I'm going to move on. So renewal sort of doesn't really matter whether you live in Texas or outside of Texas. For those of you who apply for the first time or thinking about applying for the first time, if you're in Texas, you don't get work permit. You get deferred action light, limited one, okay? But if you're outside of Texas, no restriction. So that's my DACA talk, and then I'm gonna release the video on DACA updates. Now, our client Bota joined from YouTube and asked really good question. This is sort of related to government shutdown and then beyond. So, will ICE detain someone when you have a pending adjustment of the status case, right? It's case by case. For example, Bota doesn't have it, but if you foreign nationals, right, have a serious criminal records, you could be detained. You could be detained. So, but bottom line is that it's good to have a pending AOS application to protect yourself from detention in general. Now, I'm gonna try to answer some of the questions, and then I'll move on to government shutdown. Okay, so thank you so much for Vota asking question, and then for those of you who see me doing this for the first time, I use iPad for TikTok. By the way, I didn't host this live stream for past 2 weeks. Like I said, I was dealing with the illness, and then I just fell behind. And then just doing it for a while, couldn't do it, and then I'm doing this today, babbling, just tired. Okay, it's a long day. Every day is a long day. But they eliminated a function to schedule this live stream ahead of schedule. So it's kind of maybe I'm being penalized. I don't know. They changed the rule, but I was unable to schedule ahead of this Wednesday. But anyways, I'll try to answer some of the questions, start answering some of the questions, and I'll talk about government shutdown. Okay. Tumbleweeds are real. Okay, that's your username. And then this kind of weird. Okay, I'll be honest with you. So it's about lawyer processing time. So tumbleweeds are real is the parent. Probably you enter without with a visa, right? Sorry, it's babbling, just tired. And then your child is U.S. citizen over 21. And then you started a case with your attorney, and they spend 5 weeks, and then your attorney hasn't filed anything yet. Let me be honest with you, okay? were processing cases as a U.S. immigration lawyer under Trump, right? And that this government makes everything more difficult. So to me, right, going fast shouldn't be priority, because if you go fast, you're gonna make mistake and you're gonna miss something, and then it's gonna be denied. So number one, right, rejection, denial, long pending, and also this government threatened that if or when they deny the case, they will place those in removal proceedings. So just you need to be patient. I'm not saying that, well, I mean, Trump gave us excuse not to go fast, but just there's too much regulations changing, handing down, right? I didn't talk about this during the live stream, but H-1B, for those of you who own H-1B, your life changed overnight, just like the movie, right? I mean, just isn't that amazing? And then just like it's happening almost every aspect of immigration. So I'm just pleading to many of you, right? I know that you have your attorneys, and then maybe you try to process your case without attorney. Just you need to be patient. It's hard. It's hard. You as applicants, petitioners, we as a U.S. immigration attorneys, it's just hard. Okay. Ben Yapa asked a question from YouTube. I'll try to get back to you. Okay, just scrolling. Okay, so then Julio. Okay. Okay, ask interesting question. So Julio asked this question. So looks like Julio has marriage green card case, right? And then I'm gonna rephrase his question. So he's asking is that if you go through marriage green card case and when they approve your case, then will unlawful employment be forgiven? Yes, but there is a condition, right? So then, in order for foreign nationals unlawful employment in the U.S. or to be forgiven through marriage green card case, then there must be certain condition. Obviously, it looks like Julio, you enter with a visa, right? That's required. If you enter without inspection and admission or parole, then this will not happen. And number two, your spouse must be U.S. citizen. U.S. citizen. If your spouse is a permanent resident, doesn't apply. Number three, if condition number one, you enter with a visa or S-stop, and number two, right, your U.S. I-130 petitioner is U.S. citizen, then in most cases, unlawful employment will be forgiven. But just remember that the term is forgiven. So it means that you need to disclose, you need to tell the USCIS that you work without authorization. Many of you just don't want to disclose unlawful employment. You may say that, well, I mean, I was paid under the table. It was cash. I didn't have a social IT number. I didn't report on my tax return. In fact, I never filed tax return. And then how would they know that I work without authorization? Just think twice. One of the best way to have a successful application under Trump is to take courage and be honest with them. But there's one major exception. If you claim to be falsely U.S. citizen for your employment paperwork, it's called I-9, E-Verify, then you don't have a case. You don't have a case, just period. Just unless you have a U visa, T visa. But, thank you for asking excellent questions, but I probably gave you a lot of long answers. But going back to Peñapa. Okay, so I'm just reviewing this, okay? So Peñapa is a green card holder, okay? So you're living in Minnesota. So you live with your boyfriend for 9 years, okay? I don't know what is it gonna change, okay? If I may, okay. Your boyfriend's U.S. citizen. I mean, you're green card holder, and then I mean, your boyfriend is U.S. citizen. If you get married to U.S. citizen, then I mean, you're already permanent resident, so it doesn't really matter. But you're more like N400, good moral character, and neighborhood investigation. All of this happens, and then sorry, I just didn't host the live for past 2 weeks, and so much happened. But that's really good segue into N400, good moral character, and neighborhood investigation. So back in August, right, the USCIS announced that we're gonna make N400 tough, right? So the first one is a good moral character. So what that means is that in the past, you say that, well, I didn't have any non-traffic citation. Like I only have driving without license and then driving without insurance. Maybe I had a 10, right? 10 traffic citation. I pay them all. Thus, I'm a person of good moral character because I don't have a DUI. I don't have any like, more serious, non-traffic, conviction. Not anymore. Under new good moral character review, you need to affirmatively show to USCIS that you're a person of good moral character. Having many traffic citations is not good either. So you have a reckless driving, and then in fact USCIS mentioned that reckless driving will be reviewed more critically. And then I think that Benyapa, you're thinking about becoming a U.S. citizen. That's why I'm just giving you this long answer. So that's good moral character. Another one is a neighborhood investigation. Neighborhood investigation. It means that unless you provide some documents affirmatively, the USCIS may do what they call conduct neighborhood investigation, talking to your employers, neighbors, and all this. That's in place. So it means that it will be applicable to all pending cases, all pending N400 cases, unless they're already approved. So you're about to start, that will apply to you. You submitted N400 pending, it'll apply to you. Interview schedule, it'll apply to you. You're at the stage of after interview, your case is pending, it'll apply to you. On top of that, if you submit your N400 application, I'm just writing down here, after October 20th of this year, then you're subject to 128 questions, right? That's newer version. The version that we're using is a 2008, right? 100 questions, and then you have a 10 opportunity to give 6 correct answers, right? But now under the new rule, 128 possible questions, and then you need to answer. You'll be given 20 opportunities, but you need to give 12 correct answers. So it's all happening. Okay, so that's my segue into new N400. Now, I didn't talk about government shutdown. I'll do it soon, but I'm gonna try to catch up with these questions here. Okay. Okay. So Jeff Flan, I think that I'm just skip some of the older comments. So U.S. citizen filing I-130 for wife in Philippines is a CR1 spouse visa case, right? It means the wife's overseas. It's a CR1 spouse visa. Okay, so this is common question. So, many of you thinking, okay, what if I, like affirmatively upload additional documents through my USCIS account? Because CR1 I-130 takes up to 18 months, and then you're thinking multiple way is that if I upload additional documents, does it catch USCIS attention and then they're gonna review my case faster? Or your question is that if I upload additional documents and USCIS may think that, well, you're giving me more task assignment, it's gonna take longer. To me, it doesn't really matter, especially CR1 I-130, because when we say it's going to take up to 18 months, what happened is the USCIS doesn't look at your petition until that clock, internal clock, reaches 18 months or approaching 18 months. They're not reviewing your case every single day or every single month. They're not doing anything because they're processing the cases, file ahead of you. So I don't think that it's going to hurt your case. I don't think that it's going to delay your case. But usually, if you ask us what we do, Francis Law Center, we don't do that. We ask our clients to upload additional documents to National Visa Center through SIEC and bring them to interview. Okay, I'm going to talk about one more. Okay, I'm going to answer. Okay, so Gizian, I think that I'm just butchering your first name. I'm sorry, but you have a arrest in 2023 and got dismissed, and then you wanna apply for citizenship. So, I mean, that doesn't really tell. I need more information. In fact, this is not suitable for this type of live stream, conversation because that requires lots of review. And then, to me, right, go with attorney, hire attorney because they're gonna provide professional assessment. But you asked a good question, and then I'm gonna answer in a way that I can do today in this setting. Number one, right? Number one for immigration process, even though your case is dismissed, doesn't mean that you're not convicted. So, for example, the judge will say that I'm gonna dismiss your case if you do the following. There's a condition: community service, right, or payment, counseling, or take classes, right? That's all condition. That's conviction. That's even though the case was dismissed, if there's any condition, it's not dismissal according to USCIS, still conviction. So what is dismissal? Say that either prosecutor or district attorney, right, depends on location, or the judge say that, well, looks like there's a misunderstanding. It's not you, it's somebody else. For example, someone's using your name, right? Name matches, but the fingerprints don't match, and then it's not you, somebody else. I'll let you go. Then there's a dismissal. Okay. So I don't know why you're arrested in 2023. It can be domestic battery or something else, but you need to talk to attorney about your case because becoming a U.S. citizen became a lot more challenging under Trump. And then, as you know, I made a video. The fact that you became naturalized U.S. citizen doesn't mean that you're a U.S. citizen forever. They can denaturalize you. So I don't want to scare you. That's not my job, but you need to be aware of the risk everywhere. That's what this government is trying to do. They like to make everything more difficult for immigrants. Now, there's a lot of people, whenever I make video, say that, well, the Trump supports legal immigration. He's cracking down on illegal immigration. That's not true. It's across the board. Remember, also, although the government say that, well, let's use H-1B, right? Well, H-1B is a legal immigration. It's a work visa. So let's say I say that, well, this government is trying to make H-1B more difficult by requiring 100,000 additional costs, right, to apply for cap H-1B, which is subject to lottery every year. And then, number two, they're gonna use sliding scale. It means that if you paid more, then your H-1B will be selected, right? So that's all this. Now, why would they do this? Obviously, there is a fraud, right? Everywhere, not just immigrants, everybody, right? Unfortunately. But they're sort of targeting immigrants, legal, illegal immigrants, and they're saying that, like, you're committing fraud. The government job is to catch, filter fraudsters, okay? That's what they're trying to do. So whether this is excessive or not is up to you, but this government using the fraud, right? Remember, right? Washington, D.C., the president is saying that there's so much crime that we need to send the military, right? Is it reality? It's up to you, but that's what's happening here, okay? So Bota is asking, so if you have a pending AOS case, and then if you're detained or stopped by the ICE, what document do you present? Work permit is good. And then when you have a 45 receipt notice, that would be good too as well. So I'm gonna thank you so much for Bota asking question. I'm gonna try to answer some more question here. Okay, now I think that I miss. Okay. Okay, so I think that I missed some of the question here. It's kind of hard to follow this. Okay, so Marshall, right? I don't know how to say your first name. Sorry. What if my spouse doesn't live with me? So are you talking about marriage green card case and you don't live together? I mean, that's really good question. So if you have a valid visa like H-1B and then you need to work for a certain employer, then that's okay. But you need to show lots of in-person meeting, right? Flying, driving, or if you have a F1 visa, you go to school and then your spouse live in different state, that's okay. But you enter with a visa and overstay and then you don't live together, you know, just it's gonna be hard under Trump. It's gonna be hard under Trump. Okay, just you need to think twice. Sabrina asked questions. So she's talking about expedited removal at the airport, right? So it means that you try to enter with the visa ESTA, right? And then the government say that I think that you're coming to US for something other than what you intended, usually working illegally or trying to get married to US citizen, and then they say we're going to cancel your visa or we're going to revoke your visa, and then you're subject to expedited removal. And then if you're ever subject to expedited removal at the airport, there's a 5-year ban, but there's a waiver to overcome that too. But you're asking, is it really happening often? I haven't heard much from Chicago because our clients, right, who live in Wisconsin, Illinois, we haven't heard much. So I wouldn't say that they're not doing it, but I haven't heard much at this point. Okay, Mario. Okay, so looks like your military parole in place approved, right? Did you apply for work permit? And then all that. So, I mean, flying inside the United States can be risky because you never know. You probably know that you need either real ID or valid passport. But if you like to be safe, I don't recommend any trips, domestic, international. But having said that, sorry that I couldn't, host this live last Wednesday. In fact, I have a lots of hearings and interview this month. So some of the Wednesday I won't be able to host it. I think that I mentioned earlier that either TikTok punished me so that I was unable to schedule this live ahead of this Wednesday, or I'm not sure what's going on. I'm gonna review what's going on, but I'll try to see you next Wednesday. So I will do my best to make this one constant and regular. But at the end of the day, just every day, just is just challenging for me. I'm a human being, so I'm I do my best, but just sometimes by 5 p.m. I feel like I'm spent. Sorry, I'm just whining today. I'm sorry, but that's what's happening here. But having said that, let's finish this live with government shutdown. I mean, we're not talking about politics, right? I mean, it's not what I do. So what's the impact? I'm gonna break it down, and also those of you who joined this live now, just go back to my previous comments about what's happening with the DACA, positive one. Okay, so don't miss it. I'm gonna release the video soon. But having said that, let's talk about government shutdown, the impact on immigration. I will tell you this. Don't assume anything. It means that, well, government shutdown and then, my interview will be canceled. Well, government shutdown, my immigration court hearing will be canceled. No, don't assume anything. So I can be wrong, but as of today, right, USCIS will open. Now, so when they say open, is it full capacity, limited? I mean, yeah, either one's possibility, but they're open. It means that if they schedule biometrics to capture your fingerprints, if they schedule interview, you should go. Don't assume that it'll be canceled because the government is shut down. If you have a hearing with the immigration court, right, non-detained, don't assume that it'll be suspended or rescheduled or canceled. Attend it as a schedule, and then obviously you have an attorney, so you talk to your attorney. Now, those of you who have a loved one overseas, consular process, right, interview will be canceled. No, don't assume that it will be canceled. Attend as a schedule. Now, this last one is many of you were thinking maybe this will happen. Will ICE stop detention and then their operation? Not really. They're going to continue what they've been doing. In fact, President Trump threatened that if the government is shut down, he's going to send the military at will. We'll see. But so at the end of the day, right? Nothing's sort of closed. One exception would be for those of you who have employment-based cases. We don't handle it, so I'm not expert. Could be affected because Department of Labor. I don't think that's like like what they have a like exception, like they're not essential to this government. So I can be wrong. Don't assume anything. So it's a chaotic day every day. So it's difficult to have a peace of mind, but just try to have peace of mind. I like to share my peace with you, and then I will see you next Wednesday. And until then, just be safe. Peace be with you. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. Okay, I'll try to make it more regular.